that's okay, everybody. Okay, so thanks for being here, everybody. I'm actually really excited about this particular Lunch and Learn, because for me, it's all about student engagement at this time of year. I think it's the same for all of us, really. We're really focused on first year orientation, I suppose, particularly in the week in that lead up, and I don't know about you guys, but in IIDT we have a good amount of input into that in terms of student services and careers and all of the different services that are available for first years. But possibly what we're not so good at here is reorienting ourselves with the second, third, and final years, and putting as much effort into that as we do with the first years. So I'm really interested to see what other colleges are doing in that regard. And I suppose in terms of copying and pasting pieces for my for what I'm doing here. I suppose what I'd love people to kind of think about for the discussion that we might have at the end after TU Dublin and Queen's present to us is, are there other quick wins? Are there other quick wins that you've kind of found really work within your organizations, or things that kind of are brought to mind? And if we could kind of talk about that, that would be great. So if you can just, as people are presenting, kind of think about, well, what have we done in our organization that kind of actually propel that maybe a little bit further, or other things that we've done that would really showcase or allow people to kind of cut, copy and paste those as well. Really appreciate having Queen's and TU Dublin here to present today. We have Georgina Higgins and Jennifer McConnell presenting from TU Dublin, the Career Development Centre there. And what I love is, on your presentation there, guys, you have Ellen Vahy there and Adele Kerner on that team as well. And it's the event team. And as a one person career service, I'm looking at an event team go with absolute jealousy, right? So look, I'm really excited to hear about what you've been doing as part of that. And then after that, we have Sandra Scannell and Patricia McElroy from Queen's University presenting as well. Sandra is the employer engagement manager there, and Patricia is marketing and comms manager. And again, my jealousy kind of springs up in terms of how much would I love to have an employer engagement manager that I was working with and a marketing and comms manager. It would be phenomenal. So look, can't wait to hear what you guys are talking about, and just for me to kind of be able to kind of cut, copy and paste as a smaller service is such a phenomenal kind of privilege. And again, as others are kind of listening to these presentations, if you could just think about the wins that you have and the things that you've seen in terms of student engagement, which is really where we're at this part of the year, particularly in getting people involved in fairs and all of those kinds of pieces. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Georgina, and she's going to share her screen and to bring us through the presentation from TU Dublin. And I think Georgina and Jennifer are actually going to come in both on this actually and come in and out. So looking forward to it, guys, and thanks a million.
Great, thanks very much. Just want to check you can see my slides okay?
No, they're not shared at the moment now.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna try and share those again. Apologies for the delay. Yeah.
No worries. Thanks a million, Georgina. I suppose just as Georgina is sharing those there, if you want to just throw into the chat, is like, are you finding engagement? How are you finding engagement this year? Is that something that's kind of, are you finding it difficult this year? I know that I've been just running around classes for the last number of days now, trying to get people interested in the Grad Ireland Fair and trying to get numbers up for that. What kind of engagement have you been having this year? Have you seen a difference already, or?
Okay, just checking you can see it now.
Yeah, can see it now. Thanks a million.
Brilliant. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Georgina, and I'm going to be shared on this presentation today with Jennifer. As you know, a lot of in TU Dublin, we have quite a big careers team. So what we tend to do is maybe we join different groups. So what we decided to do is maybe set up an events group, and we also have a careers fair group as well. So myself, Jennifer, Helen, and Adele previously used to be on this group. She's now stepped over to affairs to be working on the careers fairs. So I suppose what we want to talk to you a little bit about today is one of our events that we run, and it's called Get Career Ready. So I guess what we want to kind of share with you really is our experiences of running this event, the ups and downs, I guess, that we've had with it, and some key learnings we've got from running this event. So Get Career Ready will be part of what we call 3 yearly events that we run. So we usually run this event in September. We would have another one called Love Your Career in February, and then another one in May called Next Steps. What we've noticed over the academic year really is a lot of students really need our support at certain times of the year. So that would very much be around that September time, especially kind of the final years when they're applying for grad programs, they're attending careers fairs. So they've only just started, and that information is coming at them so quickly, and they need to know about these deadlines. They need to know about the careers fairs that are coming up. So we need to get their attention very quickly when really they're only just trying to sort out their timetable. So it's a bit of a challenge for us because our first career fair happens on the 1st of October. So we're trying to get in really early. And then with Love Your Career, we noticed another time when they really need extra support. So it's around that February time. And so what we've tried to do is tie that into kind of a Valentine's theme of Love Your Career. So there you have your students who are thinking about maybe postgrad study around that time, or a summer internship, or a graduate role. So again, we're trying to support them around that time of the year as well. And kind of that theme of Love Your Career has worked really well for us. And then again, we're finding in May, those final years again need our help, especially they're transitioning out of college. So it's that first graduate job. They might want to go traveling. They may be very unsure still about their next steps. They're kind of panicking about where they're going next. So they're really starting to think about careers at that point. So again, we're trying to get in with an event in May as well. So for Get Career Ready, you know, I suppose we're targeting all students really about kind of the service, how we can help them, but we're very much trying to focus in on that final year postgrad group, all disciplines, and for us it's cross campus, so we have that disadvantage where we're not based in one location, we're in multiple campuses. So when we run an event, we have to keep that in mind. We're trying to reach all students in all campuses. So the date for this event always happens in September. Hopefully we try and get in around the orientation time, or in the next 3 weeks, really just before the fairs and before those graduate program deadlines. And the aim of this event is very much to promote our service, all the resources that we can give them, the dates and deadlines of fairs and events and graduate programs, and really trying to get that very early engagement with the careers service that they know about us very early. So before, I suppose, we tell you what we're doing now, I think it's useful to see where we came from with this. So the first time we ran this was in 21-22. And again, we're looking there at the backdrop of COVID, very much the hybrid university experience. So we're very much online at that point. So the first time we run this event, we decide to run kind of online webinars and touch key areas that they really need to know about. So graduate programs, interviews, LinkedIn, postgrad study. So we run kind of back-to-back webinars at that point. We do it over Teams, and we run 11 of those in 21, and they're 30 minutes each. So they're very bite-sized. This turns out to be a really successful way of delivering the message out to our students, and we get very high engagement at this point. The webinars are delivered by multiple career coaches, so you're getting a really diverse range of career coaches talking to the students. And also we have one career coach on the chat function as well. So that works really, really well. And we're starting now to build that brand, that 3 event branding through this Get Career Ready workshop. The other advantage is we're now building a bank of workshops that we're sharing as a team. Some career coaches can shadow other career coaches as they're delivering. And it's also a very engaging offering to the students as they getting multiple coaches presenting on those webinars. We then moved to 2023 then, and the students are starting to come back on campus. We decide to reduce the online offering to 6 webinars. We go back to a half a day offering, and then we decide as well to go hybrid. So we go high flex. So we deliver in person as well as online. Again, a bit of challenges there technically as well, trying to do that with multiple speakers and multiple locations. It works okay, but what we're noticing is that the attendance starts to dip significantly. Students less engaged, either in person or online. So again, we have to get our thinking cap on again and think, what else can we do here? So as part of that online webinar, we offer the first 30-minute workshop is called Get Career Ready, where we talk about the career development service, how we can help them, and the kind of queries that students come to us with, key actions that we recommend they take from the minute they start college, and then we share useful resources. So we start offering this 30-minute workshop as a bespoke workshop, and we offer that to all academics to go into each class basically and offer this 30-minute workshop. The uptake from academics is very strong. We're getting excellent testimonials from students, and they really like this 30-minute workshops. And again, if any of you would like those slides of what we're delivering, we'd be delighted to share that with you. So we're now into 24, 25 and thinking, okay, where are we going next with this? It keeps changing. We don't know really what the students want. It's almost after the event that we realize what they want. So we realized, let's keep the brand of Get Career Ready, and let's keep that 30-minute in-person workshop and offer that out to academics again. So we've been doing that since the end of the summer, offering this 30-minute workshop. What we're doing is we've got into a lot of orientations last week for final years, and we're getting in-person lecture time this week and next week as well. Engagement has been extremely positive. Students love it. And the academics are really, really taking us up on this offer, and they're really thinking it can be part of their final year orientation. So what we're doing here is really building on success. And in the College of Business now in Angel Street, for example, we're into every final year. We've been into all the postgrads except for 2 classes. So it's been a massive success for us. And this is something we really want to build on. And then we're thinking, okay, what other event can we run at this time of the year? So we have spoken to Students' Union, we've spoken to societies, and they're saying, really, students want you on campus and they want to talk to you in person. So we've scaled back, we've removed all the online webinars, and we're going back into on campus, and really just a very simple event, really, where we're offering a lunchtime offering every day from the 23rd to the 25th of September next week, just around lunchtime. And really it's just going back to basics with an information stand with all our resources. We've decided to set up CV desks, a LinkedIn photo booth, which is going to be manned by the Photographic Society. So we're trying to get the students involved. We're asking Grad Island, do they want to come in as well? And they are taking stands as well. We're handing out freebies, and we're getting students to come in and get involved in the events. So we're hiring a number of students. What we're finding is students want to talk to students. So we're going to trial this year, and I guess we'll just see how it goes. But so we're going to have the in-person event, but also the get into class offering as well. And so Jennifer, you might want to maybe just share kind of our key learnings there of the last 3 years with this event.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Georgina. So I suppose, like when Georgina has outlined, the past 3 years, 4 years of this actual event, And it's really, we're changing it every year. So as Georgina says, like it's almost after the event, and then we go, okay, what worked and what didn't, and what do we need to kind of modify as we're going along. So now this year we're moving back to a fully in-person event. We've all been in the classes. We're going to those final year classes to let them know all the supports that are available, to let them know when the careers fairs are, when the applications are going to come in. So it's really trying to focus those final years that actually this is really important right now as well. And we have really kind of reached out. So we've done focus groups, and we've reached out to the Students' Union, to our larger university, the comms team, to societies, other departments, to really think, what do students want? How do they want to be engaged with? In what way is appropriate? What are they going to respond to? All of that kind of stuff. So it's taken a good bit of effort, you know, outside of these events to actually get that information, and then for us to reflect and think, how are we going to modify this event? So we've moved completely from online to hybrid to now completely back on campus, because we saw really last year that online had very, very limited appeal. And at the same time, so we're running to do this online event. We have to acknowledge that, you know, across the campus, student engagement is going down. So to give you an example, I was with a final year class this morning at 9 o'clock, and there was only half of them there. And I know the numbers in the class. And then I was with a different class final year group at 10 o'clock, and they were all there. So this is something that lecturers are seeing across the board. So it's not something that we could go, oh, there's very few students coming to our careers events. That's happening everywhere. So there is kind of this disengagement, and to think, how can we communicate with students in a way that they're receptive to getting that message. So we're really trying to have more and more of an input from students. As part of our branding, we've got the brand on stands. So we've got a Get Career stand, or Get Career Ready stand. We've got Love Your Career stands. We've got Next Step stands, and they look lovely. And they're there for our events, but sometimes, because the brands are known, we have them up at different times within the university in different locations as well. So it's really getting that message out there. We're here to support you. We are employing student ambassadors for the events next week, for the live events with CV clinics, etc. So we're going to have student ambassadors, because when we have reached out, we have found that students want to speak to other students. So they want other students to tell them what resources are available to them. So where can they find them on the website? What's important? Where are the grad program lists? When are the careers fairs? Where can they find that information? And also, we're hoping to organize some specific student, like class or department career reps. So we have a link to the student, and as somebody who can promote that from student to student. And also we do quite a bit of work with the SU. We get all of our information out on their social channels. They include all of our information within their student newsletters and all their communications with students. So that's been really great. Thinking of ways to engage. So freebies has definitely been something, and it has, you know, Georgina is laughing there because, and I don't know if your institution is the same, but we have had massive blocks. It's a really big challenge for us to resource this kind of thing, and that takes in other, you know, aspects of, we're going, do we have to go down a sponsorship route? Actually, should we be reaching out to certain companies to actually sponsor these types of events? Because we really have too many blocks to actually fund any types of freebies. And we know that students are open to that and do want that kind of thing. And it creates a bit of a buzz about the event, and makes it maybe less stuffy, and more likely it's a draw to get students to come over because they want the freebie, and then they might actually stay to get some of the information. CV checks and clinics are always very popular. So that's something that we kind of incorporate, and we incorporate it as well at different periods throughout the year as well. And then generally, so we're incorporating LinkedIn photo booth, but we have always had that at Love Your Career, and it's really popular. So now we've started to include it in careers fairs, at Get Career Ready. So it's really happening a good few times per the year where students can actually get professional free LinkedIn photo done at these events. And it's a really good draw for students. And at the same time, we actually, it's through the TU Dublin Photography Society. So we're actually employing students to do it as well. So that's really linked in well with our events. As well as that. So moving on to the other key learnings from this is
And
that
sorry, Jennifer. Yeah, and just say sometimes we get the DJ Society in as well. Around Love Your Career, we have a bit of music, and we're trying to involve students in our events, so we're getting the DJ Society to come in there, on that, not for this event, but for Love Your Career.
Yeah, and that's worked really well, and it's made a great buzz for us and for certain locations within our university that actually really could do with a great buzz. So it's been sometimes driven by the careers service, that there's been a bit of excitement, a bit of music, a bit of stuff going on within that location, and that's been really nice for the wider community as well. We've continued to involve the academics that, you know, really are our champions, and the services that support our work. So we really let it know we've got these new brands, we've got these new events, and we're keeping that going. At the same time, we've reached out a lot more to our university's communications teams. We don't have, you know, a social media officer within the careers service, but now our university actually does. So on Friday, we're actually going to be recording some videos and some TikToks for TikTok and Instagram, and we've never done that before. So we've really reached out, and what we found is that those communications teams, etc., are really happy to support us, and that they actually know when the events are coming. So it's something that they build in to their yearly schedule as well. So that's really helped to expand the awareness of our service and what we do through the wider university. We put all the information with the brands, with the events, etc., on the Plasma channels, on Brightspace, which is our version of Moodle. We send emails to students. We have a monthly newsletter. It's on the website. And then we also use our own socials, but also the Students' Union, the university socials, etc. And what we found is that the Get Career Ready workshop is very successful. Both students and lecturers are really happy for us to come in and to really kind of orientate the students to what's very important for them right now in final year and postgrad. And they've, like, ours have only started on Monday, so they're all coming back. But at the same time, we're saying this is really important. The careers fairs are happening now. The graduate applications will be in now, the graduate programs, so to let them know what's going on. Within that, we still have a really wide range. So we're still doing lots of one-to-ones, our classroom work with our workshops, lunchtime workshops for the wider students to come to, the careers fairs, CV clinics, employer talks, or events. So there still is a really wide range, even though at the same time we have these specific events that are happening. And the reason why we've evolved the brand as we have is because the brand was really strong. We had nice visuals with it, and it became very quickly a yearly event. Oh, it's September, Get Career Ready happens then. In February, it's Love Your Career. So we didn't want to let it go. We said we're happy to let that brand evolve, and will adapt to the student needs at that particular time. But we didn't want to kind of go, okay, we've had enough Love Your Career, we'll leave it that way. So it's been a way for us really to take the challenge and to try to keep it going. And as Georgina says, next week, after we have our events, we will probably review, and then we'll discuss and think about what really worked well this year, and what we could change as well. And we're really looking forward to hearing any thoughts that you guys have, or any ways that universities are doing it differently. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that was really great, guys. There was so many ideas there. Actually, I love the idea of the 30-minute Get Career workshop. That's an offering to academics. You know, that's you know, a really, really nice kind of offering. And you know, it's short, it's sweet, but it actually gets the word out there around everything that you're trying to do. We might hold questions off until the end, if that's okay. Yeah, I think there's been a few messages in about loving the theme in terms of the particularly the Valentine's piece, but also excellent ideas and great work indeed from Donna. I think one of the things that struck me is that this is happening across all of those campuses at the same time, from the 23rd to the 25th, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a really kind of it's a very big undertaking. So thanks so much for that, and we'll think around that for our questions and answers for the end. And if I could invite Sandra and Patricia to share their slides now in terms of Queens. So we have Sandra Scannell, Employee Engagement Manager, and Patricia McElroy, Marketing and Comms Manager from Queens. Thank you so much, guys.
Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Great, thanks. How are you, Sandra?
All good, all good. Sorry, I was a wee bit late on there at the beginning. So yeah, I'll kick us off and hand over to Patricia. I suppose first thing to say is I'm the employer engagement manager and usually don't have an employer engagement manager talking about student engagement. So my role within career service in Queen's quite often varies a bit, and I have management responsibility for our new Marcoms team and also our events team, and have been heavily involved in all things student engagement as part of that and managing both of those areas. Now I'm going to just kick off here. We bit of a different slant from us on this. It's more about how we have our different strategies for engaging students. So it's a more holistic what we do as a service in terms of how we do that, focusing very much on what would be in-person access and also what we can do in terms of disruptive marketing and really catching and attracting attention. So moving on then, just Patricia's controlling the slides for me, so I'm hoping she's moving on with me. I'll give you a wee bit of a background. So we, about 2.5 years ago, took a look at the career service and came up with a new strategy. And what we did at that stage was look at everything that we did and come up with clear objectives for the service under delivery, partnerships, engagement, technology, people culture, and how we connect with the wider university. So in looking at that, then we knew that we needed to be able to deliver what we had ambition to do on the strategy side. We needed something more succinct of an action plan for engaging students. And that's what Patricia and I are going to be talking around this today. So when we refer to student engagement, well, when anyone refers to student engagement, generally what we're talking about is a numbers game. You know, we're a service, we sit centrally, we're not in curriculum as much as that we would like to do. Our careers consultants get some access, but not always. So the more time that we can get in front of students is better for how we promote the service, but we don't often get that opportunity. So when we get students to the services that we do provide, they are engaged. We call that they're engaged students. Whereas what we're really looking to do is can we be engaging to attract students? It's about capturing their interests, about motivating them to action, and it's also about retaining their attention long enough for them to actually come see us, get onto a program, attend an event, go to the careers fairs. So in looking at this challenge, gosh, I think it's about 1.5 years ago, we had an all-team session and we identified that the issues we were experiencing fell under about 3 broad headings. We needed to understand our students better. We needed to take the understanding and develop tailored attraction plans. And then we needed to promote and ensure advocacy for the service within the university. So it's not just about what we can say to students. It's not just about how we, use our social media channels. It's actually about what we can get other people to do to influence the students to actually get on board and think about their careers and think about where they're going after university. So in terms of understanding the students, the tasks that we identified attached to that, we were looking at implementing robust feedback and looking at continuous improvement, listening to our students and really taking account, similar to, you know, the previous presenters there, listening to what they had to say about what we have done and actually trying then to modify it, you know, move with the times, bring in AI, all different sorts of things that we can do to improve that experience once we do get them there. We were identifying potential touch points for students. So we would get a lot of interest, I think, in most universities. Our international students are really, really active. And where it comes to home students, we have more challenge of actually getting them to come see us and come see us in a timely manner, I suppose, as well. So really it was about where can we actually access them? What other touch points can we possibly have? So we spent a bit of time understanding what that might look like for us as well. And then we sit with we're really fortunate to have a business operations team that have a wealth of data through our system, and that they are so good with us and giving us that data. Power BI reports that tell us everything that we need to know, career registration information, and we're using that information. We're using that information to shape what we do. We're using that information to promote our services wider and show actually who's engaging from the schools and try to get that advocacy. And we're also seeing timeframes. We're looking at patterns. When should we do stuff? And all of that all maps in together to inform what we do. So for effective attraction campaigns, what we needed to do was, again, it's already been mentioned, students want to hear from other students. So we decided we would focus on peer-to-peer promotion. And we have a group of student ambassadors that join us year on year. Sometimes they rotate, sometimes they stay with us for a little while. And we wanted to actually kind of make that happen so that they were informed about our service and that they were representing us and being able to talk on our behalf. We consolidated a lot of activities. So we went for kind of key headings and kind of that what does this mean for the student? What, you know, if we're talking about careers advice, we're talking about advisory, we're talking about skills development, we're talking and grouping our activities together under key campaigns. And Patricia will tell you more about that in a second or two. The timing of the key campaigns as well. You know, we're talking about new students, we're talking about returning students, and then there's different touch points across the year, like the other presenters as well, where we have to hit where we need to be getting key messages to them. We also took a look at when we were looking at student touch points, where their other interests were, where could we actually maybe come across students that might be wanting help, you know. So we looked at our students' clubs and societies, and we have been doing a bit of work with some of those in terms of, you know, those that are interested in business, and there's assessment centres and so on. And we looked at how we talk to students as well. You know, in a career service, we're all kind of a lot older than the demographic that we're trying to attract, and language has changed. I know I have a daughter who's Gen Alpha, and half the time when she's talking to me, I can't understand her. So God knows what we'll get by the time they hit university. But really, we have to think about what way we present it, you know. And even some of Emma and our team highlighted that actually some students don't like the word employability. They don't like the word employer because they're not on that pathway for the future and what they do after university. And the other thing that we really took a look at in terms of campaigns was segmenting them. So we tailored our comms for first years. We used the system. We used the system to target them and send them different emailers that have the key messages in it, but that always with a different slant. And the other side then, the advocacy around the university, that's something that is a challenge for us because there's so many things happening. People are getting on with their daily lives and they don't really want to talk about careers, but quite often that means that they're blocking out really good opportunities to have their students supported as part of that. And there's other teams that exist as well that we do work alongside. But I suppose that the key thing here is understanding what that means to them. What can we actually work alongside perhaps academics and actually show a benefit to them of what they do as a day, rather than us actually trying to tell them, you know, that we need them to talk about careers. It's actually, well, if we want to talk about careers, it means X, Y, and Z for you. So it's more about kind of thinking about what we could do in that respect. So we obviously came up with a full action plan around this. So there's plenty of tasks that we've been working through, and we're on the second year of that now, and we're starting to see some of the benefits on that. It's ambitious, and what I would say is that, you know, we've definitely learned a lot in the past year about what things do work. So I'm going to talk to you now about our direct and in-person approach, which has been extremely effective. Before then, I'm passing on to Patricia, who's going to talk about creative marketing and campaigns. So I suppose direct and in person is all about connecting face to face. It's on the level where you can get the respect and that they can get on board with what you're talking to them about. It's not something that's coming in an email that they have to read like the documents. It's just about the personal connection. So some of the activities you'll see on the slide there of what we would do in this space have been really, really good in engagement. And it's nothing new or startling. It's just the fact that we're putting more emphasis on trying to do it more regularly. We're putting more emphasis on the fact that we have students who can speak on behalf of the careers fair, who have a better connection and are more tuned to the way students think and speak. To be able to kind of transfer that and tell them about our benefits. So our Welcome Week activity is one that has been really good last year. We were really fortunate to be in the lovely new student centre at Queen's with direct access to Students' Union. So at the moment, I'm looking out in the glass window at this side of me, a fresher fair is going on and it's like hiving in here. So we're really fortunate to be positioned in the right location where we can access students. And that's made us think about, okay, well, what do we do with that position that we have in the building and how can we attract them in? So Welcome Week activity was all centered around this, and what we were looking to do was have fun activities such as a big wheel, spin to win, and they could win merchandise from the career service. But generally it was about creating a buzz and getting them in to talk to some of our careers consultants and some of the rest of the team and global opportunities and everything, just so that they could get a feel, for it could be freshers, it could be returning students, it could be someone with a real kind of ambition to get their career sorted this year. Another thing that has been really successful is the student ambassadors, as I have said. So they're trained, well, trained as far as we can get them. It's not official training, but it's very much given the information that they would need to be able to talk on our behalf. And they do such a fantastic job on it. And what we discovered is that our student ambassadors last year had more talent than we thought, and they were able to do lots of different kind of videos on TikTok and all sorts of things for us. So it made us rethink what that looks like for this year, but Patricia will talk about that. But it really hit the nail for our peer-to-peer stuff. So what we found really useful in using the ambassador force was actually having lunchtime pop-ups in the student centre. So we would be down on the ground floor, or rather the student ambassadors would be down the ground floor with a big stall, all talking about all careers, tracking students in and having those good conversations, explaining what the upcoming events were, what the programs were, and the service benefits that they can actually avail of. In terms of a lot of students don't know exactly what we do, so it's a good way of kind of accessing them, and they're always attracted in by kind of the big red branding and all the lovely marketing materials that go along with that. And I suppose the holy grail of careers is getting into the primetime gig in the lecture theatre. And it's a hard challenge for many of our careers consultants, and those that do get in and where their successes in schools help us open doors to the other schools. When we talk about this model and we put that into practice, and the actual benefits of doing it have been found to be really useful for students, then there's more appetite for being able to have that advocacy and saying, okay, well, we do need you in curriculum, or we're going to give you this, or we'll give you extra time. Anything, I think that some of our guys could get more access to it does wonders. And they don't sit on their backsides either. They're out and doing additional things. So it's a couple other things that the student development team and kind of that getting out and around campus to meet the students. They've been getting up close and personal. And when I say personal, this is as personal as they're allowed to get, I suppose. Joining students on volunteering days, like litter picking and allotment planting, as well as turning up in places where they might not expect them, and that would be the halls of residence. And that has been really useful. People who have had no idea we exist don't come down to the student centre, but actually up in the halls of residence in the lovely space up there, they've reacted really well to what our careers consultants have had to say. So I suppose all of these are kind of, as I said, it's nothing strange or startling, but it's the fact that it's a more active, structured, scheduled way of working, and also pulling in those kind of existing students to help us with what we're trying to get across in messaging. It makes our service more accessible, it makes it less threatening, and it's good to be able to encourage students that have never heard of us to get involved, or at least come and ask a question. So that's a quick run through of kind of the overarching student strategies, and I'm going to hand you over to Patricia now. So she will be able to give you more information about the engaging content that we put out through social media and all our other channels, and some of the attention grabbing activity that she's been personally responsible for when she joined us this year. So Patricia, over to you.
Oh, sorry guys, I'm having some technical issues because I think, can you see Sandra in the middle of the screen? Okay. I'm gonna move her. Hang on if I can. It might flash up with my family, so just warning you guys. Apologies.
Patricia, we can see the slide deck as far as I can
you can see the slide deck. Perfect. That's okay. Hang on. Let me see. It might not move for me, but I'll try. Hi everyone. I'm Patricia McElroy, the Marketing and Communications Manager for Queen's Careers, Employability and Skills Department. My background is relatively mixed in terms of marketing. I've worked in financial services, the advertising sector, FMCG, and I joined Queen's back in November last year. So it is a bit of a fast learning curve whenever you come into this department. But I really enjoy working with the team here in Careers. Over the past 10 months, it has, I know, you've just come to realize how life-changing this wee department is. The students are a challenging bunch to engage with, as we all know, but it is a very, very, very rewarding service because ultimately we are starting these individuals at the start of their career journey, and it makes it so worthwhile of what we are doing and how important it is. With regards to communications for our service, we tend to struggle, and I kind of would call it brand service awareness. So a lot of our students still aren't aware that we even exist. They tend to confuse us with HR. And we just kind of they kind of would put off the careers part of their university life towards the end of their, obviously their year, so that, you're looking at the third year, and then that becomes a panic for them. So it is our mission as a service, and with, myself as marketing and communication manager, to bring like a fresh creative perspective. How can we engage existing students, new students, and just sort of capture their interest? And as Sandra already mentioned, it's really important that we capture their interest of their audience. We motivate them to take action, and then we retain their attention. So with the current number of methods that you can kind of see up on the screen here, that we use, we categorize them into a number of different things. So we have print, digital, and other. We do, print would be a lot of your traditional methods. So your banners, your brochures, your flyers, your business cards, your A4 posters, some of your outdoor. Now we are very, very lucky internally. We have a fantastic team that can support us with design work in-house. They make everything within the brand guidelines. So we are very, very, very lucky with regards to that. But they also try to be a wee bit creative in terms of making things brighter and putting faces of actual students within the photographs that we would push out, just to make it a little bit more engaging for them. In terms of digital methods, we do a monthly email that we would send out with key events for that month and much more. We also have the My Future platform where students can search for jobs, book onto programs, and there's an awful lot more that comes with that platform as well that they can engage with. The website itself is like a central hub of information for us. We recently streamlined the homepage. There was an awful lot of different messaging on that, but now whenever you land on our homepage, you literally will be able to understand what audience you are, click whether you're a student, an employer, internal staff. It's just a quicker method and of getting to the area that they need to be. Then in terms of social media is a really cost-effective method for us. We currently use Facebook, but with our demographic for students, this would be kind of on the decline. It wouldn't be as one of our most popular platforms that we'd use. We would tend to focus more on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is definitely something of a dark horse. This platform, I was at a social media conference last week, is migrating towards a platform where people are sharing their career journeys, and it's not just a professional networking site. So a lot more students are getting on this. So if your service isn't on this, I would really, really recommend that you look at this as an option for you, because it's just growing and growing, and it's going to become very, very prominent, especially in our world of work. So we also have on course, we have on-campus screens where we use colourful artwork. We do use a lot of QR codes. So I'm kind of testing those at the moment with students to find out if it is something that they are continuing to use. But at the moment we are continuing to use those. In terms of the final category, then we all know best. Word of mouth marketing is the best way. I know a number of the other speakers have mentioned today about peer-to-peer recommendations. We can talk all day long about events, programs, and all the services that we offer, but word of mouth marketing is the strongest form of advertising, and that is why the influencer marketing on social media has become a multi-billion-pound business. It's because it's that recommendation, it's that personality, it's that you relate to that individual who is trying to sell you that service. So that is why our student ambassadors are so important to us, and that's something that we are just going to really build on definitely this year. In terms of, we have standard presentations, we'll try and make sure that our branding is all on that. We host a lot of events. So this semester, actually, we have 60 events. So it is definitely a balancing act within our marketing department to be able to sort of push out all of those different events and then make sure that they're getting their fair share of traction. So we will pick out key ones that will be maybe more relevant to certain areas and target them in that way. We also have careers fairs. We have 3 large-scale fairs this year. So we have our autumn careers fair in October. We have our spring career fair in February, and we also are actually hosting the NI Grad Fair, which we usually share with Ulster University. So it's our turn this year to host it. So looking forward to that, because that's a first for me this year. We also take on other various, we also take pop-ups, as Sandra already mentioned, across the university, and careers consultants will go out with some of our student ambassadors to places such as our Maclay Library, our business school and accommodation, just to sort of promote the service to students and disrupt them in their daily lives, to make them aware that we are still here, and sort of that, as I talked about at the beginning, increase that brand awareness. So we are working really hard to target our audience and drive them through booking their, whether it be book a one-to-one consultation, log into My Future, and try and book onto an event. But it's our mission to help students really realize their potential and become future ready for their future career. So just bear with me 1 second, because I'm moving to the next slide. I'm double jobbing here, and hang on, let me see. I'm not sure if it's going to play the sound for these, but we'll give it a go and see how it works. So I just wanted to share some gossip successes that we had in terms of the marketing department. So I talked about social media earlier on, and how that we get really good traction with a lot of short, snappy videos, and this is definitely what this demographic is looking for. So I think one of the other colleagues on the call, I think from TU, had mentioned that you're starting this. That's the perfect place to go. That's what I highly recommend. But yeah, keep it short, snappy, quick content. At Christmas, we did one to sort of talk about the service. So I don't know if the sound will come through. Don, if you just let me know if it's playing.
Yeah,
No,
the sound,
no sound.
it's playing, but the sound isn't coming through.
There's no sound. Well,
No,
we
no,
can
no.
share it after, and everybody can watch them. But this video here talks about the service, and what we did was, for a little bit of festive fun, we brought Santa in, and Santa came to One Elmwood, and the mission was that he came to get a career. So he spoke to one of our careers consultants. He went around and met different students, and it's scripted really, really well, and it's like a story. But this video alone got 30,000 views across social media, so it was a really, really, really strong engagement piece for us, and that means it was something a bit different that we did. We've never done anything like this before, but it's definitely the type of content that seems to land. But for us, it was all about getting that brand message out there. So there was 30,000 views on that video. So hopefully, or I know there'll be students have watched that maybe wasn't aware of our service. So that was exactly what that mission that did for us, what we wanted. The next one there is the what to wear for a job interview. So we would take little top tips sometimes and do little short snappy videos on what to advise students on different things, whether it be interviews, CVs, and we're just getting more and more traction with this. So this video alone was actually only posted out a couple of weeks ago, and it's already got 10,000 views. So it just goes to show you that that's definitely the way to go in terms of the short snappy videos. And then the final one, which I'll not play these for you, you'll get them in the slides afterwards, or you can go on our social media channel and follow us. You'll be able to see them there. we try to sometimes pick up on trends. So there was the jumping trend that went on during the summer on TikTok, where if you jumped from one location to another, it brought you to some people had used it for to go on their holiday. For us, we used it where we had done, they were going from the Queen's Lanyon building to Ulster University because we had the NI grad fair there. And it was pushing the NI grad fair, but it was also pushing our careers consultants. And that video, I think, got around about 6,000 views, if my calculations were correct. But yeah, again, it's all of those short, snappy video content that is really, really working for us. And then I'm just going to go to the next one here.
So Patricia, I'm just going to give you a kind of a 1 or 2 minute kind of thing. So we do have a little bit of time at the end, if that's okay, because I know that people will be pushing off for the 2 o'clock mark. Thanks a million.
I'll speak really, really quick. So then the next one, we in terms of new methods of communication for this semester, we have grouped our events into months. So obviously we had talked previously were weeks, but in terms of my experience with any campaigns that I've ever worked upon, it takes 3 weeks for a campaign to land with a certain demographic. So it made sense for us to move to the months. So as you can see, we kind of created little icons. So all of our events that are happening within Welcome Month will have this icon on them to like link them all together and group them in a nice way. The next thing that we have also done is we have introduced an e-magazine, which is digital only, and this will just show top short snappy things for the service that we're doing. I've also included a link in the next slide that you can go in at your own leisure and have a look and see what we featured within it. And then I've already talked about the student ambassadors there and how important it is in terms of getting them to engage with their peers, because they don't want to hear from us as service providers. They want to hear from other students who've actually gone through and experienced in a recent capacity of something, whether that be a trip to Barcelona or a CV workshop that they've done. They want to hear from each other. So the next one is just a link to the magazine that we've done. So it's a really bright and vibrant magazine, and it's new for us. So hopefully we'll get some really good traction with it, but it features like key events, our careers consultants, and with a wee quirky message in there from them about what their favorite singer is. It just humanizes them as well, makes them a little bit more relatable for the demographic. So that's me, Dawn, and I thank you very much for listening, everybody, and I'll chat soon.
Thanks so much, guys. There are so many ideas there and so colourful. I just think, I think the things that are really coming out is this kind of in-person piece, like really getting as much of that as you can, whether it's through student ambassadors or through yourselves. And then, this themed event piece, and both of you have seemed to have kind of really, that's been something that you've been doing, in both colleges. So that's been really interesting as well. I'm going to open it up to the chat there. If anybody has any questions or any quick wins or any ideas that they have in terms of their service. I know we've only got about 5 minutes left. So I know that one of the things that Angela said earlier, she'd love the slides, by the way, to you, Dublin, in terms of those workshops that you're doing. I think I would too, actually. It just gives you a real sense of the kinds of things. So Georgina, that was a lovely offering, and thanks for that. That would be great if we could get those, and the slides from the day I think are going to be shared as well, if that's okay, everybody. If that's okay. Anybody for fantastic and personality coming through for the students. That's the peer-on-peer piece. I think that is really good. Angela, you have your hand up there. You wanted to ask something.
Yeah, just to say, my God, that is mind-blowing what all you're doing. It's just amazing work. Like Dawn said, I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, should I change careers? You're doing fantastic work. So well done, because I think, a lot of what we do, each year we're doing it, but each year we're trying to do it differently to engage with our students. So just fantastic. You should be very proud of yourselves and get all your managers to increase your wages. So well done, and thanks a million for sharing.
And there's lots coming through around. Well done. It's so interesting, so many ideas, so innovative. There's a question here about the social media comms piece. Is there a strategy for maintaining a consistent stream of material annually, etc.? Is there a challenge in keeping it authentic? Conscious of my great hair featuring in a TikTok video. Sorry, and that's from Adrian McHugh. So is there a strategy that kind of works in terms of that social piece?
Yeah, well, I can talk to that one, guys, if you want me to take that on. So we do have a planner that we would we kind of brainstorm for we have weekly meetings, and then we also have, you know, a brainstorming session where we come up with ideas and creative content. Sometimes it's just a trend that we've picked up and we're like, yes, let's do a video, and you just go on it at once. And then I'm hoping this year, when we've got the students in place, that they'll come up with some of the ideas themselves.
Okay.
But yes, it can be, in terms of the summertime, I will say that because the students aren't here, it is a challenge for content. But we do sit and brainstorm in advance, because social media is a beast. And even, you see it from using it in your personal life. It's crazy, and there's just so much you can do with it. So you do have to sort of sit down and plan and think, about, for this week, what are we focusing on? We do, in Queen's, focus a lot on our current events that we do. So we'll have the ones that we are promoting, and then we'll also have, whenever the event is happening, we'll take photographs of the actual event happening, taking place, and they get quite good engagement, because students like to see themselves on socials. So that would be what we would do.
Okay, so there's a planning element involved, and that's kind of how you keep on top of it. And Joanne Holland is saying student ambassadors are for sure something that she'll take away. Really impressive from Catherine. Love the quirky videos. That's a great impact with students. I mean, you can see from the impact that you had there in terms of your numbers. Thanks everybody, super presentation. So look, there don't seem to be too many more questions. I think we will end it there. Thank you so much everybody. That was amazing sharing, and that's what I absolutely love about AHECS and these Lunch and Learn events, that we all get to cut, copy and paste, and thanks a million. Really appreciate all of that sharing and openness.